Thanks for joining me and welcome back to my channel. If you get a minute, hit the like and subscribe button. I would appreciate it. Today we are taking a look at Kaustic Plastic and Infinite Studios' Phantom of the Opera figure. This figure was offered in three formats: standard, deluxe, and exclusive. This is the exclusive set. So we're not going to look at all the boxes, but we are going to take a gander at the organ box. Phantom of the Opera on the sides, and basically just a write-up of how accurate their organ is on the back. It's kind of funny, really. Okay, let's take a look at the figure box. First, the exclusive edition on the top, Phantom of the Opera. I love the artwork. It's very watercolory, signed by the artist. I think it's better than just regular standard figure photography. On the side, you do have some figure photography. On the back, Phantom of the Opera and legal warnings. And again, the exclusive edition and the numbered. This is, 121 of 180. On the other side, it lists everything that comes with it, all the accessories. I like that. I wish more companies did that so you knew what you were getting when you looked at the box. So now let's open the box and get the clamshell out. Here is the clamshell out of the box. You can see the Phantom, his hands. Around the side, Phantom of the Opera. And around the back, the music stand, a photo of the figure, and Phantom of the Opera. Phantom of the Opera on the other side. But we're going to take the clamshell out because this box has one more trick. And there it is. The original movie poster printed on the back. I love that they included this. I love the artwork on the poster. It's just a really nice addition. My only complaint is it's not removable. I wish it was a separate piece. You do get some literature when you pull the figure out. You get another copy of the print, and on the back, credits to the artists that created it and the artists that created the figure. You get the notification that this figure has moving eyes. I think it's the first Infinite Studios figure with moving eyes, and it shows you how to operate them. It's unbelievably simple. And this last card is, in case you had a problem with it, it tells you what to do, how to handle any broken pieces or complaints. All right, let's take a look at everything else they give us. Here's all his accessories laid out, with the exception of his organ and the large display base. So what we're going to start with is the standard base, which is magnetized. On the front, you have a nameplate, Phantom of the Opera. On the top, a stone floor-like sticker. I wish that was engraved. On the bottom, they managed to engrave their company logo. How hard would it have been to, on the top, give it some texture? It's magnetized, so maybe that's the reason why they didn't do it, but I would have liked to have seen that. Music stand. Looks like it's carved wood. It's well done. And it has also magnets in the bottom. The main base is magnetized, and that sticks onto it. There are quite a few magnets in this entire piece. You get his sheet music book with sheet music in it, and a couple of other separate sheet music pages. They are removable. You can display them on the organ, make it look like he's working on them. They are only printed on one side, but when they're either lying on the book or lying on the organ, you'll never know it. You also get 3 notes the Phantom wrote. From the movie, they are totally legible. They're all to different people. And I love it how the paper looks worn and old, like it's been living, in the tunnels. It's just dirty. After that, you get his hat. The hat is molded plastic, and it's more of a set dressing than an actual accessory you can make him wear. I suppose if you were to really heat it up, you could get it on his head, but as it is, it doesn't go on there. You get the urn, which has also got a magnet in it, and it sticks to the organ. It's well sculpted. It has pitting. There's a lot of dry brush and washes on it to make it look like metal, and old metal at that. You get an inkwell, which is pretty simple, just molded plastic, but it also has a magnet in it that sticks to the top. And you get his quill, which does fit inside the inkwell. Feather is well sculpted, and it's fun. It just sits on his organ. You get, if you have the deluxe or the exclusive, his violin. Real strings. The wood texture is well done. There's some fading to it. It definitely has a look of a little bit of just wear and tear, but it's a nice accessory to have, and it actually can hang from the music stand in the back. And you get his bowstring. Pretty simple. It's all plastic. It's well painted, though, and well executed. I usually just leave it sitting. If you order on the web, you also get his mask. I've kept it in the box, but we're going to get it out in just a minute. Given how important his mask is, it's a shame it was a web exclusive. Let's take a look close up at some of the hands that you get. I will say one thing about Kaustic Plastic. They have moved to the next level on hands. The paint, the sculpt work, they are all character specific, so there isn't any reuse. And they go beyond the wrist, so you don't see the wrist peg most of the time. Here's kind of sprayed out fingers. You can see the kind of blush on the knuckles, the fingernails, the cuticles, the vein work, the tendons across the skin. This is kind of a playing the piano hand. These are just so nicely done. And all the other Kaustic Plastic figures I have, their hands really are kind of the standout. They're soft plastic. They get pushed on very easily. I don't think there are any duplicate hands. There's not, I don't think, a left and the right that look the same. Kind of a pointing finger hand, gesturing. You get a lot of gesturing hands with this figure. I thought this was to hold the bow, but it does not really do a good job of that. It's a cool looking hand, a good gesture. I wish they had made one that was more exclusively just to hold the bow. And again, more drumming on the piano hands. But again, the cubicles are painted well. The whole hand is painted well. This one is closest to the duplicate. There's one of this on the left and one of this on the right. They're pretty similar. All right, let's take a look at that base for 1 second. Kaustic Plastic bases are magnetic, and unlike some other companies, they are extremely strong. I have several of their figures, and I've never had a figure fall. Here is the exclusive base. Looks like stone with a rug over the top. The fringe is sculpted, but the rug itself is like flocked, so it feels like material. On the bottom, you have another image of the Phantom. That watercolor artwork, which was really nice. But here's the showstopper. The Phantom's organ. This thing is just gorgeous. And it's almost necessary if you get the Phantom. Wood grain all around. It's not as worn as I would like it to be. It looks pretty new. But it just goes with the character. It's a heavy, solid resin piece, so you don't want to drop it on a glass shelf. Here are the two pieces together. I forgot to mention you also do get the bench that goes with it. Again, carved resin. Cushions look good. The seams and the buttons, stretch marks, the wear marks. Gold fringe around the side, which does match some gold in the rug. Wood grain on the legs and on the base. All very well done. Taking a little bit closer look at the organ. The keys are all dimensional. All the buttons are dimensional. Foot pedals. None of it moves. Obviously, you can't play the organ. But it is all very well sculpted and very convincing. Getting the Phantom himself out here. He looks great. The cape is a little voluminous and it's kind of poofy. But it's, part of his look. It is removable, which we'll show you in a second, but just going around on the turntable, he looks great. Proportions look good. The tailoring is really good. But let's get that cape off and take a better look at just what he's got on underneath it. So without the cape, you can see the kind of burgundy tie he has, his tuxedo jacket, splits in the back. And just how good the tailoring is on this. It hugs the figure really, really well. The cape is kind of an iconic look, but I am extremely tempted to pose him without it because of how good he looks. Let's take a little bit closer look at the Phantom. Okay, cape's back on again. Close up, this head sculpt is great. The rotten teeth, the shadow underneath the eyes, the couple of strays of hair over his forehead. You can see his double chin. Lon Chaney, along with just the makeup effects, would tuck his chin in to give him that look. The accentuated cheekbones, the ears a little bit rosy, the bald spot on the back of his head with a couple of stray hairs across of it. This was great makeup work when Lon Chaney did it, and Infinite Studios and Kaustic Plastic have done a really good job replicating it. To change his eyes around, basically you just pull off the back of his head and move the eye posts. Very simple to do. You could do it with one hand. You can do it on camera even. And they've done an extremely good job of hiding the seam on the back of the head. When it's not sitting right, you can kind of see it, but once you get it situated, it completely disappears. It's a very, very effective. You wouldn't know it was there if you weren't looking for it. All right. Going down, his cape does not have a single wire in it. But moving down from that, you get to his bow tie, which is, again, burgundy. And it looks kind of, it just looks aged. Silver studs on his shirt. And then the tuxedo shirt. The vest is closed up by Velcro in the front. And then he has the tuxedo jacket on the sides with some buttons. I do wish there was a little bit of weathering on the costume. Tuxedo jacket splits on the bottom, and you can see he has cufflinks to hold his shirt. And again, it's nice because the shirt goes pretty far down his arms, but because of the way the hands are designed, you do not see any wrist pegs. Pants are tuxedo pants, kind of high-waisted, no belt or anything, but they do go down. There is a wire in the back of the tuxedo jacket. So you can bend those, get those to move out of the way, or use them just to kind of hug the body. It's a thin wire, but it's not much fabric back there, so it works just fine. Pants, again, no weathering, and I wish there was a little bit of it. You go down to his boots. They are sculpted plastic with very little paint, and they are high-topped. It's not wearing any socks, but they are high-top, so you'll never see that. There's no tread on the bottom, and again, no weathering, and you would think he's walking around in the sewers. There should be some. Let's see how the Phantom moves. Left and right, forward to there, back to about there, not very far, and very little tilt. He has a butterfly joint in his shoulder, which does have some good forward and back motion. His arm will go out to there. It will go up to... Okay, so he's a little restricted because of the suit, and he has extremely tight ratchets in that shoulder joint on mine. It took me a second to break that free, and I was a little nervous about it when I did. Double jointed elbow, pivot at the bicep, and let's try that shoulder again. Yeah, once you force it a little bit, it will go up so he can point. The only problem with the tailoring being as tight as it is that it does affect articulation a bit. He'll crunch forward just a pinch and lean back a little farther. His legs will go out to the side to there. They do have a pivot up at the thigh and forward to there. Double bend at the knee. That goes past 90. And a double ball peg in the feet, but you don't get much motion because of the high boots. He has a standard wrist peg, and even with the longer wrists, you do get a little bit of motion out of them. Okay, so now, who do we compare the Phantom with? This one's a little tough. I don't have 9 Phantoms lying around. It's pretty much this one. But I can think of somebody else who has an affinity for capes, and is produced by the same studio. Bela Lugosi's Dracula. This is the Infinite Studios Dracula. It's a great figure. Problem is, it's a little bit too small. Bela Lugosi was 6'1", Lon Chaney was 5'7", so the scaling isn't exactly correct. But if you throw in Mondo's new creature's supposed to be 6'7", He scales well with the Phantom. Lugosi should just be a little bit taller. Now we've got a lot of the Universal monsters. We're just waiting on Frankenstein and the Wolfman. And we know Frankenstein is coming. But who else can I... Oh, Wednesday Addams crashed the party. And she brought Thing, but he walked away. Yeah, I'm not surprised, but she oddly fits in with this. I kind of love this team. Okay, so one last thing people are probably going to ask for, so I might as well get it out of the way. Can he wear the mask? And yes, he can. It takes a little doing, and I wouldn't necessarily leave it on there all the time, but he can absolutely wear it. As you can see, the top of the organ is magnetized, so the urn and the ink pot stay in place. This is a great looking set. I will say, it's not necessary to get the base. The base is heavy and it takes up a lot of room, and it does add something, but it's absolutely not necessary. But the organ is, especially if you want to create a monster band. You got to get the monster band. Anyway, all in all, I'm really happy to have this piece in my collection. I'm a huge fan of Universal Monsters, and this is probably the best representation of the Phantom of the Opera we are ever going to get. He's not perfect. He's got a couple of small issues, but all in all, he's a great figure. Anyway, hit that like and subscribe. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.